Welcome back, everyone. I'm so lucky to be here with Dr. Ashok Malhotra for part 3 of our interview. In the first 2 parts, he laid out a groundwork for where we are now, his own personal awakening through yoga, through the traditional Hindu civilization that he was born into. But his life brought him to the West, to Hawaii first, and then to New York. And now we're going to find out exactly how this structure of understanding led to the type of action that he has done in the world over a lifetime of really, really impressive work. So, Dr. Malhotra, can you take us from theory into action?
Okay, thank you, Bob. For me, it's a very smooth sailing thing because I came to SUNY Oneonta and I had studied Eastern philosophy in India and Western philosophy in Hawaii. But East-West Center brought people from 51 different countries together. By the way, Obama's parents, Kenyan father and his American mother, were students there 3 years before I came there. Obama was 2 years old when I came there. And he used to come to the East-West Center to play. Okay. Here it says the connection is unstable. I don't know why. So anyway, so I learned from East-West Center how to be a person of the world. And before I left East-West Center, I was asked to start a philosophy department at SUNY Oneonta. But before I left, or the day I was leaving, the chancellor of East-West Center came over to me and he said, Ashok, can you tell us in one statement how East-West Center influenced you? So I was put on the spot. But Yoga Sutras came in handy because they are sutras. They tie together at 4 or 5 words to give you a statement that condenses the whole philosophy. So I said to him, the chancellor, I said, before I came to the East-West Center, I used to think I'm a Punjabi, grew up in the Punjab area of India. Then after coming here, people thought I was from India, so I belonged to India. But after meeting people from 51 different countries, I lost that sense of being a Punjabi, lost that sense of being in India. From one point of view, I lost my home. But the moment I lost my home, at the same time, I became a citizen of every country. That's what the East-West Center has taught me. And he said, that's perfect. We'll quote you. Anyway, so I came to SUNY Oneonta and they didn't have any philosophy department. So I met with Dr. Rhoda. He was just hired. He was from Italy. I was from India. We used to call ourselves Indo-Italian kind of combination to start a philosophy department. And college had no idea what philosophy was. They thought it was BS. They used all kinds of terms. And we wanted to institute into the philosophy department all the courses we ever wanted to teach. So we created 22 different courses, instituted also philosophy of India, China, and Japan. That is Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism. That's one course. Or recent mystical philosophies of India and China, yoga and meditation, and then, of course, all the courses in Western philosophy. Also, combination of philosophy and literature of alienation. And we did all kinds of interesting things because college didn't know, what we are doing, but we convinced them. And we did that. We created a philosophy major, a philosophy minor, and we got some of the brilliant students like you, Dan Simpsoni, and others, we were able to impart this. But the strangest thing happened. After teaching here at SUNY Oneonta for 13 years, and I started, while I was doing my yoga and meditation, and I started thinking what my teacher said, your life has to have a balance. Do I have a balance in my life? 13 years of teaching, all the way from 1967 to 1979, 80. That's when you are my student. And at that point, I started thinking, all this teaching, learning at the best school in India, and then coming to University of Hawaii, learning from all these great teachers. And now I'm in Oneonta. I've been teaching their teachings. I'm standing on the shoulders of these giants of humanity. I am what I am because of all these. And there is an African term they use, and that is Ubuntu. Ubuntu. That means I am because of you. I got my PhD because of Jean Paul Sartre. I created all these courses because of all these giants of humanity. They gave us all the knowledge. So anyway, I started thinking, I have been teaching. I have been getting my paycheck because of teaching. It gives me living. Does it give me life? There's a big difference between making a living and having a life. So at that point, I said, I'm going to think about the 10 biggest problems humanity is facing and which one I could put a dent into. And I started studying about India. And because India gave me my master's degree, gave me birth. And I am what I am because of India first and then America. So how can I contribute? So I found that I am successful because this education I got. Let me look at this problem of illiteracy. Then I found India at that point had 350 million people, 160 million, almost half the population was female population, and that was almost illiterate. So I was influenced by two great thinkers. One was Abraham Lincoln, another was Mahatma Gandhi. Unfortunately, both of them are assassinated. Lincoln, I read his biography, and two lines stood out from. I found that Lincoln used to walk 5 miles carrying his big sack to study, to get his education. But he will burn midnight oil, and it was used to be, he wrote in his diaries, Abe Lincoln with his hand and pen, he will be great, God knows when. All good boys who to their book supply will be great men by and by. And I remember that stuck with me. Then I was reading My Experiments with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi. And one of the reporters had asked him a question. He said, India has an illiteracy problem. How will you solve it? And Gandhi said, very simply, I have a slogan, each one, teach one. If every educated person taught one more person who is illiterate, you can solve the problem of illiteracy in India. So I took those two. I said, we are going to educate the female and minority children. And that's when you came to India with me. That was our first trip. And it materialized into creating 7 schools with more than 1,800 female and minority children. And I just got recently, last week, a videotape of one of the girls who came to our school 24 years ago. I gave her a pencil or a pen, and now she is an anchor and a reporter on television. Beautiful, speaking English fluently, a number of. Another one is in Russia, who is the medical doctor helping the people out there. Number of them are engineers, because I started with them when they were 5 or 6. 24 years later, they are 30 years old. Amazing accomplishment. And not only these children are getting education, villages where we started these schools, they are flourishing because new roads are coming up, internet is coming up. These kids are corresponding with Linda on Facebook. Fabulous stuff. When I go back, and they are all surrounding me, and it's sir, teacher Bhangra, Bhangra. I said, when I saw you, at that point, I could do Bhangra for 30 minutes. Now, after 30 seconds, I will drop dead. I can't do that anymore. So anyway, so we did that experiment. And I have a message for the rest of the world, all the people who are in power. This COVID-19 has brought our humanity together. That is, the virus does not discriminate, whether you're white or brown or yellow or black and so forth, whether you're this or that, belong to this religion or that. It attacks everybody, irrespective of what nation you come from. We don't have to send Neil Armstrong kind of an astronaut to come back and say, come on, humanity, we don't see any barriers. You have created those national barriers. We don't have to have an HG well to say the Martians are attacking humanity. Come together to fight back. Come on, this is COVID-19 is telling us, let's get together to fight it as a human family. And what is all of us looking for? We are looking for what yoga says, a beautiful concept. We are all looking for santosha. And that's coming from Ashtanga Yoga, the second step, which says socha, santosha, tapas, and so forth. Socha means cleanliness. We have to see what our addictions are. We have to clean up, like you cleaned yourself up from your coffee drinking to tea drinking. Or I clean myself up from coffee to tea. Okay, that's socha. And then you have to think about all the other addictions we have. But the second one is santosha. Santosh means contentment. All the people, they're looking for an altered state of consciousness. They're looking for a healing and a health and so forth. Their ultimate goal is santosha. That is how I can be content with who I am, where I am, and what I have. And that's very, very important that people have to. And this all came from going back to Socrates when he went to that Olympus hill, okay, and he has to get in touch with, God Apollo, and he listened to that sound, and the priest said, what did you hear? What did Apollo say to you? He said, well, he said it in his own language, but I'll translate it for you. He said, you are the wisest of all human beings because you are the only one who knows that you know nothing. And brilliant. And my statement is, the more you know how little you know. Think about it. The more you know how little you know. That's very important. But another statement is, the more compassionate you are, more compassionate you will become. And there is an old saying in India and in China, and the saying is, scent lingers on the hands, that deliver the flowers. Think about it. Scent. You're giving the flower. You have the scent in your hand. And the person who gets the flower has a lot of scent. So you're doubling up the pleasure. And our whole life is nothing but a contribution to humanity. Gandhi was asked a question, how will you know God? And he said, don't tell me, how will I know? I see the God when I help, to educate somebody. I'm getting in touch with a living God. When somebody needs food, I give him a food. I'm in touch with a living God. And what is all this? And he used the word seva, S-C-V-A. That means service, service, without asking anything in return. That's Nishkam Karma. Going back to my mother, who read that chapter from the Bhagavad Gita, Nishkam Karma. Do a good deed each day. If you can do more than one, start doing it. Let your whole life be filled with good deeds without asking anything in return. And Gandhi was asked, so how do you find meaning in life? And Gandhi said, it's very simple. When you do a compassionate deed, you forget yourself. And when you forget yourself, you really find yourself, the silent self. And that's the most important healing experience you'll ever have. That's when you touch the spirit. You become one with that spirit. And I'll leave you with my own depiction of all this. We have a heart. You have a heart. Maddie has a heart. Linda, all of us have a heart. Doctors say there are 4 parts to it. Of course, there are 4 parts. But as a philosopher, we have to look at it slightly differently. The first part of the heart beats for me. It says, do yoga, take walk, eat right, in balance, okay, and take care of yourself, sleep well, and don't have ups and downs in your emotions, be leveled, and so forth. Take care of your health, physical, mental, and spiritual health. But the second part says, we have to listen to it. It says, what you want for yourself, you want it for your mother and father, your wife and your children, and your whole family. That's very important. And the third part says that what you want for yourself and your family, you belong to a country. There are fathers and mothers and children and grandchildren. What you want for yourself and family, you want it for all the people of your land. And the fourth part says, we are all children of this earth. Earth is our mother earth. What you want for yourself and you want it for family, you want it for the country, you want it for all the children. And the problem with most of us is we limit ourselves to the first part, then we become totally selfish, self-centered, competitive, and so forth, even with our own brothers and sisters. But if you extend yourself, I am because of you. The next is family. Develop that part of your heart. And then the third is what you want for yourself and your family. Ask it for the whole community and your whole country. And it's the most difficult part to have that world perspective. We are all in it together. And that's what we have learned from COVID-19. We are part of this human family. And that's why we have the sign Namaste. And Namaste means with the totality of my being, I bow before you. I don't bow before your physical body. I recognize you have that divine spark. I have the same. We are brothers and sisters. We came from the same source. And the same word in a different way is used in Hawaii. People go to Hawaii, you say aloha, and aloha spirit is there. And we think it's just a greeting. No, aloha means aloha. My breath and your breath came from the same source. We are brothers and sisters. That's why they use the word ohana for the family. Ohana, we belong to the same life-giving tree. And it also is similar to Ubuntu, the African saying, I am because of you. I'm standing on the shoulders of these great giants of the past. That's what COVID-19 is teaching us. That will be the biggest healing if we can inculcate that family. We are part of this human family. And that's my message. Then work together to make everybody literate on this earth. So my message to all the powerful people who run all these countries, the presidents and prime ministers and dictators and emperors, make this as your plank. Each one, teach one. Let's, in our own countries, each person teaches a person who is illiterate and make the whole world literate. That will be our greatest gift to 21st century.
What a beautiful message, and what a beautiful way to cap our 3 interviews in talking about your life, which has been nothing but an inspiration to me. Your brilliant understanding of these philosophies, but not stopping there, to take it and carry it into the world to create positive change. And I'd like people our listeners, to be able to find out more about the work that the Ninash Foundation is doing. So if people would like to get in touch and find out more about it, how would they do that?
I think they should go to www.ninash.org. And it gives you the story of all the 7 schools. And it gives you a small videotapes of 3 minutes, how we started with the help of 300 students, many faculty members. So many people went to India, they have contributed, and how each village is developing and growing. And if people want to take the next step after they read about it, they want to contribute to these schools. They are freely run by the people in India. We support them by raising money, donations here. They can go to ninash.org, go to PayPal, and give their donations. It's 100% tax deductible, and we depend on donations. And every dollar somebody donates, the Ninash Foundation will duplicate it, will double it up. Okay, if you give $1,000, we'll put $1,000. And that's what my life's mission is, now to educate every female and minority child in India. And that will be a long time. I had to live for 200 years. Otherwise, if it could be done in 20 years, then we'll go to Africa, then we go to Southeast Asia, then we go to South America. I love to. But if I can do it just like that firefly, you become the firefly. He becomes the firefly, and we have to create many fireflies to light up this darkness which is there, pessimism which is there. There's so much work to be done for humanity. Waiting.
Thank you so much for these messages of inspiration and for your life that shows us how to take good thoughts and put them into action. So, Dr. Malhotra, thank you so much for being with us for these 3 separate interviews.
Thank you, Bob. You're very generous with your kind words. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope people will get in touch with me.
I hope so too. And thank you everyone for listening. Please contact Dr. Malhotra. We'll see you soon.
This has been Cultures of Health and Healing with Robert Vetter. Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe and rate this show and share it with others. Until next time, remember, your health and healing matter, and you can find your own unique path to optimum wellness.